The National Association of College Stores has reported that the average full-time equivalent student spends $449 a year on new and used books. I myself am only a part-time student, and I've been averaging just under $300 a year myself. At first, these numbers aren't that staggering. However, considering that there are now over 20 million students enrolled in colleges and universities in the United States today, the college textbook market is estimated to be over $10 billion a year. Today's students are facing ever-increasing costs for their education, particularly in the area of textbooks. It is important for the industry to start finding ways to halt the associated increasing cost and find ways to lower them for the future. Today, students need to find a way to pay for these additional expenses, often requiring more money in the form of additional student loans, increasing their personal debt. Placing our students deeper in debt will only mean more possible economic problems in the future, as many will default on those loans, and the ones that are paying will require a longer amount of time to pay them back. By having current students use more e-textbooks, demand more e-textbooks from the publishers that create them, and encourage their schools to increase the use of them, we will begin to see a fundamental shift in the high cost of support materials required for our education. The cost of textbooks is growing beyond many students' capability to pay. Back in January 2005, Professor Henry Roedinger wrote in an article on psychologicalscience.org that the high price of textbooks is the direct result of the used book market. He was referring to how new books' price went up after they were competing with the used books and less new books were being created. Another point by Professor Roedinger in this article was that after universities relinquished their hold on bookstores, the bookstores aggressively raised the percentage of markup on these prices. Again, once these bookstores went private, they were out for profit. They were never looking out for the students anymore. These changes in the textbook industry have caused increases in the cost of textbooks at a rate higher than that of inflation. Adopting technology today is much easier than it would have been even 10 years ago. Making the transition to e-textbook is easier for today's youth, who are much more technologically advanced than past students. Many of today's students already rely on computers and the internet for research, assignments, general studies, even online classes. In the future of online and hybrid classes, making e-textbooks part of the curriculum makes remote schooling even that much easier. Not having a physical book is the same as not having to physically go to class. Having schools adopt a strong policy on the inclusion of an e-textbook into their curriculum would make a major change in the industry. If today's colleges and universities began making such a change to the landscape of the textbook requirements, the industry itself would evolve much more quickly. Author Jeffrey Young wrote an article for the Chronicle of Higher Education about e-textbooks, and in it he says that in the near future, colleges will start charging students directly for e-textbooks as part of the course material charges. It's another way to help lower the cost of these books. When providing feedback to their school, whether it be a teacher review, course review, just general suggestions, students need to make sure that they're requesting that their school use more e-textbooks. Making the change from the classical textbook to the e-textbook would be beneficial to students and the colleges and universities they attend. For those of you who are unfamiliar with e-textbooks, hopefully by now you're thinking to yourself, was there an e-textbook equivalent for that class that I took last semester? Would there be one for next semester? Well, the easiest way is to go online and search your classic bookstores that you've already been using. If you can't find that book there, just use a Google search. E-textbooks are everywhere. You'll find many sources providing e-textbooks, and you can leverage them for future classes. The prices of these e-textbooks you will also find to be much cheaper than a new book, and they offer various options of how you can use them. Some are online only, Others you can download and print the entire book. For you students out there, next semester, make a change. Use e-textbooks for as many classes as you can find them being offered for. Today's students are tomorrow's businessmen and women. Requiring expensive books for their education is only setting back their future financial capabilities. Making the change from the classic textbook to e-textbooks is an easy way to drive down costs for not only our current generation of students, but for the many students to come, and will help drive a much needed change in the textbook industry.